Welcome to Top to Bottom Male Romance Podcast, where we celebrate all things male romance. I am Jessica.
And I'm Markie.
And this is our December top episode.
Yay! Before we get into all the holly jolly goodness, I do have to remind you that we have reader groups. We have one on Facebook and one on Goodreads. You can jump in at any time and talk to us about our bottom pick, our side banana, any cool fun things that you've discovered related to MM romance or general silliness that you want to share. You can jump in at any time and chat with us. We also have a Patreon. Our patrons get inside information about upcoming interviews that we have on the docket and get a chance to submit questions for said person. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, make sure you do so.
And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you rate us on whatever it is you listen to us on. It helps other people find us too.
Woo! So, December.
Yeah.
This year has gone by way too goddamn fast.
Yeah, it's been a busy one. I think we'll do a year in review for our January top, yeah? So maybe we'll talk about our top favorite things from the year in January.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
For now, I think we're still in the celebratory month of December because...
Well, we did say on our bottom episode of November that December is going to be a little light. So we have the next two episodes are going to be kind of light. We have a nice little bite-sized book for our bottom. So we'll have a bite-sized bottom. And we've got a couple just little fun things that we're doing, but it's going to be pretty light for December. And of course, we hope you guys are having a fantastic beginning of the month and have a bunch of fun stuff planned.
Yes.
To kick us off, let's talk about our fresh banana, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So our fresh banana for the month of December is J.I. Davenport, who is a super duper fresh banana, as in they have only been published a little while. Their debut novel, Mercutio, is a queer retelling of Shakespeare Romeo and Juliet told from Mercutio's point of view.
That's super awesome. I absolutely adore Shakespeare, and retellings that are really good are definitely some of my favorite things. So that's cool. I don't know that I've actually done any Shakespeare twists.
I definitely haven't. Well, because I think that I'm sure that it exists. I don't know if I've actually hunted one down or sought it out, but I'm sure like a queer Romeo and Juliet, like with two guys, exists out there. I just don't know. But this is interesting because it keeps Romeo and Juliet as they are, but it has this character who's known to be flamboyant and ridiculous as like a side, like his point of view. And from the blurb, he's basically hopelessly in love with his best friend Romeo. And so he's watching the love blossom between him and Juliet. And he's like, I know. So it's going to be fucking tragic, but like, because spoiler. So basically it's him pining after Romeo and watching him fall in love with somebody else and knowing that like his love is not going to be received basically. So it sounds, if you feel like getting your heart stomped all over, good, tragic, wonderful story to kick off the holidays. But no, it does sound really cool. I mean, I'm being an asshole, but it sounds like it's a really good story.
You just don't like anything that's not happy. And I guess going into that can't have an HEA unless the author twists it, which I think it's worth digging into to find out if we have a true Romeo and Juliet ending or if we have a happy ending.
Yeah, you never know. So, they could stick true with it and be that bittersweet, tragic ending that we're familiar with, but told from a point of view of, somebody who's watching his love die, basically. Or maybe they'll twist it and everybody ends up fine. That's what I would like. But, I'm a fluff ball who demands happiness all the time. But of course, I'm going to put the buy links in the show notes, and I will make sure to put J.I. Davenport's information on where you can follow them in the show notes as well. So make sure you check it out.
Yes. So we're also... So since we know that this month is going to be chaotic and hectic and we may not have all of the time in the world to do a lot of extra things, we are kind of cheating for our side banana. A little bit.
Yeah, but it's the best kind of cheating.
I agree. I am not going to argue with you there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have opted to, because it's kind of holiday-ish, right? Because angels are synonymous with holiday stuff. Sure, yeah, we're going to go with that.
Right, yeah, it fits.
So we're going to be rewatching Good Omens. We have both watched it multiple times. We're assuming a lot of you have as well, and we think that everybody should curl up with some Good Omens during December because it just sounds like a fantastic fucking idea.
Yes, because who needs more extra stress. This is like, Good Omens has turned into like my comfort watch anyway. Like if I can't find something on that I want to dive into, or if I'm not feeling well, or if I'm just on the couch and don't want to move, I will watch a couple episodes of Good Omens, maybe in order, maybe not, and just be happy. So this is our Christmas gift to you guys.
Yes.
We're giving you permission to watch it again and then talk to us about it.
Yes. We are always willing to talk about Good Omens. It's one of our favorite things.
Mm-hmm. So I brought it up, I think, last episode, but I got a tiny little rainbow tree, a little Christmas tree for my day job desk. And I think I want to try to decorate it with like my favorite ships as for my tree. So it'll be my ship tree, my ship holiday tree. And like the first thing I want to get is a Good Omens keychain so I can put it on this tree. This tree is very tiny. So I think the only thing I could really decorate it with is like tiny acrylic keychains. I think that like my Good Omens ship is going to be how I decorate it. I'm excited. It's my ship tree. Like I just want all of my favorite ships. I want Stucky and Good Omens and Yuri on Ice and whatever fun gay things. And like I need more authors to do like keychains of their characters so I can put them on my tray.
Be careful what you wish for. Come after GRL next year because I bet you'll start noticing and collecting them. You're going to need a bigger tree.
Oh no. Or another tree. I'll just have 2 trees.
I'm actually really mad that we didn't think about this earlier.
I know.
And collect those keychains while we were there. But anyways, there's a lot of talk about your tiny tree.
Well, I'm hoping that I can at least get like 1 or 2 ordered depending on if my Christmas budget allows, and maybe post pictures, but I don't want to promise pictures unless I could actually get some keychains for it. This is my scheme. This is my holiday gay scheme.
I love it. I feel lacking in schemes because I'm doing boring shit like baking stuff, and
that's not boring. That's important. And
say it's important. You say it's important because you want to eat the cookies.
Yes. Yeah. The end. That's it. That's why it's important. Well, and we're kind of going to segue into what we're going to talk about next anyway, but I mean, that's such a big part of the holiday stuff.
It kind of always has been a little bit for me, but it's kind of taking a turn, and I don't know, I'm getting more into it and learning more things, and Christmas time is the best time to do it because everybody expects tons of baked and sweet things. So when I force them upon people, I can get a lot of practice in on making pretty and cute things and actually get people to take them away from me. So yeah, it's fun. Since we're kind of already here, is there anything we want to talk about before we start our top segment?
No, I'm ready to dive into the tops.
Sweet. And we will announce our bottom pick at the very bottom of the episode. So stay tuned for that. But before that, we're going to kind of do a couple of different tops this month. We're doing our favorite holiday things. We're also going to talk about things that we would like to see in more holiday romance books.
Yes.
So since we're kind of already talking general holiday goodies, yeah, so we're basically going to go through our top favorite holiday things. I don't really, me personally, and I don't really think anybody gives a shit, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. Like, I don't really do any holidays from a religious standpoint, but I love the tradition of Christmas itself. I grew up with Christmas and am very fascinated with Yule and the solstice, all sorts of shit that happens in December. There's lots of cool, fun traditions to celebrate, and while it doesn't come from the same place as everybody else's, it's something that's super magical to me. And I just, the whole month of December is magic.
Yeah, very much so. Like all of my holiday related stuff is not religious either. And since I grew up in a household that celebrated Christmas, I refer to what my holiday celebration is as Christmas, but really it's not tied to anything remotely religious. We're both pretty secular people. But if I could steal the show for a moment, when you were talking about cooking, my top thing about the holiday season is food. Like, this is the time that everybody turns into chefs, and like everybody's mother and grandmother and grandfather and whoever is the cook of the family just like busts out some mad delicious shit. And in my household, it's always been my mom. Like, even when my grandmother was still around, my mom is like this beast chef. Like, she makes, and she, like, my mother does not hold your health to any regards. Everything is like high fat butter and sugar, and just like I gain all of the weight when I get to go to my mom's and just sit in her house while she makes stuff like super rich sugar cookies and sausage balls and cakes and pies, and just like there's no chill, and she always cooks for like an army, and there's never been that many people in the house. Like, it's crazy. So my absolute top of the top is food. And I assume it'll probably overlap some of yours as well.
It's actually really funny because food is not on my list, strangely.
No shit.
I know it got edged out by a couple of things, but it is a huge deal to me. I adore cooking and I love making treats for people no matter what the time of year is. So I like being the creator of that food and watching people enjoy it. But I don't have a big family. And like I grew up when I was real little, that we had the big family situation, but probably like well before I was an adult, like middle school-ish. It all like the family kind of started, separating or whatever. Like there's a lot of things started to change around then. So my entire adult life, I haven't had like the big family gathering situation. And so it's always been, what can I create? How can I make this magical? Because, a lot of people have that person in their family that does it. Well, I am that person in my family that makes it magic because I want everybody to experience the same magic as me. And so my actual number one top thing, it can kind of include the food, but it's really it's creating and living the traditions. Mm-hmm. It's making new traditions. It's carrying on old ones. It's just the tradition of it. And like the ceremony of baking and wrapping presents and like just creating the tradition of it is I don't really know how to put that into words, but trying to make the time as magic for everybody else as I want it to be for myself is more than half of the fun for me. So that's my number one thing is that.
Well, in the Christmas time, it's like the traditions are what make it feel like holidays. Like since I'm no longer living with my parents, like all of those traditions that I had as a kid are gone, which sucks. And then me and my husband both aren't. Well, I love doing presents, but it never works in my house. So like, I don't get to do the wrapping the presents anymore. And I don't super duper cook. So like, unless I travel to my mom's, I get little bits of that old tradition that's no longer a thing anymore. So I feel you. Like I think both of my other two things are basically traditions. Like they're something that is tied to growing up in my house. Like, mm-hmm. The things that involve the holiday season. The next one, other than food, is smells for me. Like the smell of cinnamon apple and pine are like, I crave those. And like the first little bits that we have smelled so far this year, like somebody in our office has like a cinnamon apple candle, and I like wanted to go seek them out and hug them because I'm like, yeah, like you've made it smell like Christmas around here. Like that is the smell of Christmas because my mom always had those. So like I freaking love that smell, but only if it's Christmas time. If I smell it in July, it just upsets me.
You're a fickle one.
Yes.
Well, what's your other one? Because mine would kind of tie in.
The other one is a very specific thing, and I haven't had a chance to do it since I was a kid, since it was like the last times living with my parents when they cared enough to have a big tree. Because like when I lived with my parents when I was in college, so in my 20s, I was still kind of hanging out at the house, but they didn't do the tree so much anymore because they were like over it at that point, which I don't blame them because it's a pain in the ass. But they used to always get a real tree that's flocked, and we would put the lights on it and make a whole thing about decorating it blue, blue, blue. But my favorite part was in the evening when it was dark and the living room was completely dark except for the Christmas tree, which would be either in like the slow blinky pattern or whatever. I would lay on the couch and just watch it like one would watch a roaring fire, but it's just this tree lights doing its thing. And I could just lay there forever and watch it. And like, I haven't been able to recreate that since I was a kid. And that's like one of my favorite holiday things.
Well, that kind of ties into my next one, which was actually the first thing I wrote down, which was lights. Mm-hmm. I am obsessed with Christmas lights. I adore them. I will, if I ever get a break at work, I will be covering my cube at work with lights in respect for my husband, who is not, I mean, he's coming around. I'm kind of making Christmas good for him, but we both worked retail for way, way, way too long, and it broke him. It did not break my spirit, but it broke his. So I've had to rebuild. So out of respect for him, I wait until Thanksgiving to put up the lights at home, but I always do a tree. We have a black tree that always decorates spooky. And then this year, so growing up, we were lower income, right? So we didn't really have a ton of money. And I never, ever got to be the person whose house was lit up for Christmas. And it was always one of my favorite things to do is drive around and look at Christmas lights. Just, I absolutely adore that. I still do that now. And this year is the very, very, very first year I get to have lights on my house. And I'm so excited. Being who we are, me and my husband are, going to make it as spooky as we can while still keeping with the spirit of Christmas. I think I might post pictures once we get it up if it looks all right. But yeah, I could stare at Christmas lights forever. I love driving around and looking at them. I can also just stare at my plain, boring tree that's just plain white lights against the black tree. Like, I can stare at that forever too. So I absolutely 100% feel that.
Yeah, I haven't done because we used to, either me and my sister-in-law or me and my husband would get in the car, get cocoa, and then just go slow drive through like the nice neighborhoods and look at all the Christmas lights. Like the people who, I don't know if they're crazy. One, have the money to afford to like really deck out their house or pay somebody to deck it out for them, because it's like, that's some commitment, man. And like, I think my dad put up Christmas lights one time and it was a catastrophe. So that was not a thing in our house. But yeah, it's a pain and it's expensive. So seeing the people who go like just all out is really cool.
Yeah, it is not cheap. We were going pretty basic and we still spend way more than I would have ever anticipated spending on it. So I better fucking look good. My other thing is, it's another tradition, and I'm actually going to expand on it because what I have here is one of my traditions of wrapping presents to the same fucking movies every single year. When I start wrapping presents, I wait until nobody is in my house and pull everything out into the living room and just start going to town. And I will always watch, uncharacteristic of me, but I do love my love stories. Love Actually is always number one, and then Elf and Gremlins and Bad Santa. Those 4 movies. Oh, and Scrooged. Those 5 movies. Oh, 6. Nightmare Before Christmas. So I have a few favorites.
I feel like the list is going to keep going. You're like, oh, actually, 85,670. This one.
No, so those 6, I own all 6 of those on Blu-ray/DVD, and also have them, if they are not on like Netflix or something I can stream easy, I have purchased them on Amazon so I can stream them from my phone. In case somebody is home and I have to wrap presents in my back bedroom, I can still watch them on my phone because I have a problem.
You are committed.
Dude, it's my tradition.
I'm not giving a shit. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm really stubborn about that. Like, when I was a child, would wake up early as shit and wake up everybody in my house because it was fucking Christmas. Mm-hmm. Guess what my 38-year-old ass does now? I do the same damn thing. I am up before everybody. I'm a little more chill about it now. I make breakfast and coffee. So that way when I get their sleepy asses up for presents, they also have breakfast and coffee. Nice. But it's early. I start early and it's like a requirement. Nobody was making the traditions happen for me, so I had to make them happen, and I force everybody to have fun with me. Yeah. So we talked a lot about that. We're done.
Well, hey man, it's part of who we are. It's fun. And I think a lot of people hopefully can relate to that. Like, everybody's got to have wintry holiday traditions or things that they look forward to, even if they don't really celebrate the holiday. Like I said, even we don't really super celebrate in my house now. Like, I don't have a tree. I have one for my desk at work, but I don't have one at home. We don't do presents because my husband will just immediately give me something instead of wrapping it and waiting until Christmas because he's a freaking brat. And like, we don't have kids. So I just, like, if it's just going to be for me, I'm not going to do it. And Alex isn't super into it. So we're like, whatever. But there's still stuff that I look forward to every holiday, like the smells and the foods and like dorking out with you about Christmassy things. Like that's part of it.
Yeah.
So taking the theme of holiday things, since this is an MM romance podcast, we also wanted to talk about stuff that we'd like to see more of as far as like wintry or holiday themed MM.
Yes. 2 of my 3 are not going to be surprising to anybody who has listened to more than 2 or 3 episodes of us, because it's the same shit I want in every book ever.
I think our first ones are going to be the exact same thing.
Well, then I will start. My first one of my 3 is, and these are not really specifically in any kind of order. I want all of it and I want it now. More genre stuff, like paranormal, magic, horror, fantasy. I would love me some horror. Last year, we did those Bloody Christmas Elves for our December pick, and it was fantastic. It was funny. Good. It was dark. It kind of had some scary stuff, and the Christmas imagery was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
So A+ on that one. That one checked all my boxes, and the sexy times were quite nice.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Yeah, super, super enjoyed that. I would read any kind of book that's like that, that's like a Christmassy action movie with some love in it. Just give me all of that forever.
Yeah, same. My first one's the exact same thing. Like I appreciate the Hallmark Christmas movie books that are out, and they call themselves that, so I'm not being like a brat or something. Like the fluffy, feel good holiday stories are really popular this time of year because that's the time for it. Like that's when Hallmark is coming out with all of their Christmas specials, and like people love that, and that's super cool, and I'm glad it exists. But I really would love to see more paranormal, shifter, spooky, like you said. Like fuck it, dude, I'll do another spooky Christmas book. This shit was awesome. Just mix it up a little bit more. Like I just want to see a little bit more flavor other than the sweet fluff that's out there, or like there's a lot of like super angsty stories that are out there, like overcoming strife and heartache and stuff like that. There's a lot of those during the holidays too, which totally makes sense because holidays can be a bummer. But where are my fucking action movie books with elves and crap? Like, give me more of that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I completely 100% agree. And if any of you know about more of those, please let us know. I will read them all.
Yes, absolutely.
So my number 2 is snark and humor.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many of these follow a traditional love story kind of situation. It's usually, you're meet cute and it follows a formula, which is great because that's what romance does. We all follow formulas, and then we deviate to kind of make it special. Well, that doesn't always leave a lot of room for snark and humor. And where there is snark and humor, it's usually pretty light. It's there to, punctuate moments in the book.
Mm-hmm.
But man, much like I would love me an action movie, a holiday action movie in a love story and make it a book, I also would love a straight up comedy, a Christmas themed comedy of some sort with romance in it. My example that I have of this, there was this really ridiculous series that we read for a book club outside of this before we started the podcast. The series is called Reindeer Games from Jet Michaels, and it's just like a ridiculous, silly, really pretty explicit story about elves and Santa, and they're on the North Pole and they have this whole culture and stuff, and it's super fun and hilarious and funny.
Just to give you an example, do you remember what the elf would scream when he like orgasmed?
Oh, all Christmas shit.
Yeah.
Jingle bells.
Yeah.
And
it's like silver bells when he's like blowing his load. Like I laughed so fucking hard at that book. Like it's so absurd. But it was good, man. Like the sexy bits were good, and the elves were hot. And, like they're always just fucking. It was ridiculous.
And it also had the really sweet components of a traditional holiday love story.
Yeah, it did.
It was very hallmarky and sugary sweet. Like it was all very, very heartwarming. And it's being adjacent to lots of super sexy times and ridiculousness. But God, those were fantastic. Not all of those are MM. I think one of them was MF of the 3 that I read.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I read 3 of them in a row.
You did. I think I only read the MM one, and you were like, these are all good. And I was like, I love you.
Man, humor. Give me more of it and make it festive.
Yes, please.
What you got?
So I only really have one more, so sorry. The thing I really like is when authors write like a holiday special with their characters. Like,
yes.
Yeah, like I know everybody's busy, especially this time of the year, and you're trying to do 1,000 things, but please cater to my whims and show me these characters that I love from various series doing fun holiday things. Like, I would love to see what the Thirds guys are doing for Christmas this year. Like, I just, that kind of stuff. Or like if Jex wrote the one with
Stone
Krampus.
Sentinel?
Yeah, the Stone Sentinel, where they like go find Krampus. Like that was primo awesome. Like I love it when you take when you have a Christmas special with your people, with your characters. Like I need more of that. And I think a lot of people still do it, but it gets swept up in the madness of keeping up with things. So a lot of times it doesn't get the love it deserves. Like, bring those back, man. I need more of those, please.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's actually not on my list, but it should be. That's a really great point. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So my last one is just, okay, so to set it up, some of my favorite Christmas movies are Gremlins and Die Hard and Love Actually. And while these movies are not specifically about Christmas, they are Christmas adjacent. They take place during Christmas, which makes them Christmassy to me.
Right.
So you can have any kind of story ever, but it's set in Christmas. So you have moments where they might be like, out in public and there's like lights and music and stuff, like just stuff that in the setting makes it Christmas. I love Christmas adjacent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I just really want is an action movie that's funny with a love story that takes place during Christmas. And maybe have some vampires or ghosts or something.
It's very specific, but I would also
I don't
love
ask for
that.
much.
No, that's I think that's unreasonable. There's a lot of very talented people who could churn this out, I think. So call to arms. Somebody write this. You could pick the paranormal thing. She just gave you some examples, but hey, man, you do you. You write this however you want.
And I will say right now that if anybody actually comes to us and says that they wrote a Christmas story based off of what I just said, and publish it, that will absolutely be our December pick next year.
Yeah, 100%. You have a whole year to make this a thing, and then this will be the book that we make our December bottom. So 2020 December, I demand this. Get on it.
Wouldn't that be neat?
We're
so full of shit.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, so having said that, actually, our bottom pick, are we ready to talk about that?
Yes.
So this year for December, for our holiday pick, we're going to be reading Crimson Christmas from Kathy Griffith.
I'm very excited about it because I know like last year we almost picked it up as our bottom and we saved it. So do you have like the information in front of you? Can you tell us what it's about?
Yeah, the blurb's actually pretty short, so I'll read that.
Okay.
Arthur Middlesworth hasn't really had a proper Victorian Christmas in about 150 years, but a vampire isn't supposed to love Christmas. Poor Arthur really doesn't feel worthy of the name, though, until his faithful Renfield finds him a part-time job at a Christmas village and also gives him hope for love with one of his own kind. Ciaran Cosgrove ambles through his undead life, taking what he wants, what he needs, and ignoring the fact that what he really needs is love. His handler, the manager of a Christmas village, hires a gentleman that might just fit the bill, but he doesn't hold out much hope. Hope is for humans. We'll just have to see about that. So it's like present day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these vampires have these human handlers that like help them with their day-to-day shit because, vampires. And there's this Christmas village that's Victorian, so they can wear their normal clothes and feel at home and not look weird being out in public because they're fucking Victorian vampires. And they both need love, and they're both going to be put in the same place. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this.
It sounds so cute. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I actually bought this last year and never got a chance to read it, so I've already got it on my Kindle ready to go. I am very excited for it. I don't believe it's on audio, but it is fairly short. Let's see, it's it's super short. It's like 67 pages. So.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So Christmas cookie size, little bite-sized bottom for everybody's December. We hope you enjoy reading it. We are going to have a blast with that ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. And like we said, this month is going to be very small. We've got a ton going on. We assume you guys probably have a shit ton going on as well. So read about cute vampires in Christmas land and watch Good Omens for the 80th time and just enjoy December. Don't let anything stress you out. Just have a good time.
Yes, absolutely. And it looks like our bottom episode will be after Christmas, before New Year's. So everybody have a super awesome holiday, whichever one you do or do not celebrate. Just have a badass December, and we will see you guys at the bottom of the month.
Indeed. Until next time.
Bye. Top to Bottom Podcast is a part of the Frolic Podcast Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts.